Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Touching You Talk Show. My name is Elder Sheila Black, and I have another special guest on today. He is known as Big Husky. How are you today, sir?
I'm supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I'm good. I'm good. How are you today?
I am wonderful. That is one of your favorite words. Why is that?
I love to have fun. My mom got us into watching Mary Poppins when we were young. And so it's one of my all-time favorite films, period. And then I do it to honor my mom. I do it
Oh,
to honor my mom. So
wonderful.
that's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, all right.
Honor
So,
mommy.
all right. So, tell me a little bit about you. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Johnstown, Pennsylvania. I've been back and forth between Texas and Pennsylvania all my life, with stops in between Florida and Kansas as well. So um, we moved here. The first time we moved here was when I was 4. We followed my uncle Douglas Miller down here.
Okay. All right. All right. So which one you like the best? Go ahead and be honest. Dallas or Pennsylvania?
Texas,
You like Texas
Texas,
better, and the
Texas.
reason is,
I'm a always love Pennsylvania because it's home. I
hmm,
love Texas because of the endless and boundless possibilities.
right, and the warmth. I'm sure it's not as cold.
Baby, let me tell you something, because the way that snow be, I'm too old to be shoveling snow nowadays. I'm too old to shovel snow. I don't like it. I'm not gonna do it. So yeah, I don't like to do it.
So when did you realize you were funny?
I've kind of always known I was funny because it kind of it was natural. So it was something that, like I would make the comment everyone else was thinking, like, oh, her breast stink. And I would say it like, that's when I didn't know, I didn't have a filter per se. I ain't have coop. That's the word. I ain't have coop then, I was just gonna say it, and if your feelings was hurt, oh well. But in these Chris Rock and Will Smith streets, you gotta be a little bit more, have a little bit more cooch. So
You know what? I wasn't gonna even mention that, but since you brought it up,
since we there.
as a comedian, as a
hmm
comedian, what is your thoughts on it? The whole situation. As a
Um,
comedian, first of all.
as a
Fellow
comedian,
comedian. As a fellow comedian.
sometimes I get him telling the joke, but sometimes we throw a joke out there before we think about it. So it's hard to pull it back, you know what I'm saying? And it could of course it's never had anybody run up on stage on me, but it could hurt some people's feelings, because sometimes you're in the go mode. Like when you're in performance mode, you're not in the same mode as everyone else. Performance mode, you're just going bam, 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 bam. I've got to get this joke out. I've got to structure this. I've got to bam. And you might throw a joke it was harmless to you, but it may be harmless to someone else. So I could see where he threw the joke and he meant no harm. But I could also see Will Smith's side, him and his wife Jada. I could also see their side. Um, it was a bit much, but like I said, it was a bit much for Will, but I understand as well. Because people always say, well, you have to put a good face forward, and especially in church.
Hmm.
In church, you got to hold your mule. The old folks, you say, hold your mule. So, but sometimes life happens and you have a moment, and your moment does not match the integrity. Your moment doesn't match the level of respect, character, and integrity and dignity that you built in front of people. Sometimes your moment matches this how I feel. Sometimes you're more like, everyone's had a moment, and unfortunately, the moment was at the Oscars. Um, but I don't agree, but I understand, and that's what I would say about the Will Smith situation. Period. I don't
So,
agree, but I
so, how
understand.
many, so as a young child, how many times did you get in trouble for making comments when making jokes at the wrong time?
Child, I had scheduled butt whoopings. Come home, clean up. I'll be home, whoop you, fix dinner. I had scheduled whoopings. So we kind of knew I was gonna mess up during the day somewhere. So I kind of got whoopings on credit. Like I had depositable whoopings. Like this is for something you gonna do Wednesday. So my mom had scheduled whoopings for me. Like it was like in my calendar. Do homework, clean up, get your whooping, eat, and. So I had scheduled whooping. So it wasn't we didn't even ask how many times. We just knew I was gonna do something in the day. So I was gonna get a whooping regardless. So it didn't even matter.
So do you have brothers and sisters?
I actually don't have any biological brothers, but I do have biological sisters. I have three sisters. I have a half sister. Erica and April are my by both my parents, and then Valerie, who's my dad's daughter.
Okay.
Well, who's my sister, but because you
Okay.
don't want to sound rude, like so I'm just your dad's daughter. I didn't think it like that. I'm fine. I don't want no trouble. I don't want no trouble.
So did you make fun of them all their lives and all your lives?
Well, you couldn't grow up in our household and really not know how to bus. Because my mom knew how to bus, my sisters knew how to bus. Like even to this day, we all get down. Like like even the woman that I eventually date, she gonna have to learn how to bus. Because
Okay.
it's a part of the lifestyle. Like you can't be in my family and don't know how to get back because we gonna get you. So it's up to you to come back or say it how you say it. But I'm the king at it though. I'm definitely the king.
So you
Me
came
and my Uncle Mike. Huh?
So you came from a whole family of comedians, is what you're saying.
They're not technically like they don't get paid for it, but technically, yeah. They're all like my mom is a jokester, my dad, like they all some of it's dry wit, some of it's humor like mine, but some of it's dry wit, but all of them have like legit, like they can get you if you come for it. Like they be like, okay, don't come over, hobo your way over here. I'll pay your way back. That's what my mom used to say. So yeah.
So how old were you when you had your first professional stand-up gig?
I don't remember the actual age. It's 20 plus years ago.
Okay.
That I first my homeboy, we were drinking and going to the club. He's like, let's go to the comedy club. And they were having open mic night. And my homeboy, he bet me. He said, I bet you won't get on. I'll give you $50 if you get on stage. I'll give you another $50 if you make them laugh. So I go to the guy writing the list up, and I tell him, I say, I want to get on stage. He said, well, what's your name? So I wanted to make him laugh as soon as I got on stage. So my first comedy name was Big Dookie. My first comedy name.
Big Dookie, okay.
Yeah, because I wasn't saved then. I got Jesus now. I got the Lord now, but I wasn't saved then. So my first comedy name was Big Dookie. And but that got the last, and I got on stage. I made my first $100 by just getting on stage and telling and that my name, making them laugh. So I made them laugh. I got the point across. I'm gonna make some money off of this.
So you've been doing this for 20 long years. What do you say to the person that is thinking about starting their career, or maybe they're in the midst of their career and it looks like things are not working out the way they would like? What kind of advice could you give them?
Work on your craft. Like every day, all day, I'm working on my craft. Like I send memes to my friends, to the group chats. I cut jokes just to see if it works, just to see, is this going to be a joke they like? So I'm ever working on in conversation. Like in conversation, I might not necessarily be working a joke, but I'm working a concept and seeing how it gets along with just your average Joe that doesn't get on stage.
I see.
Come here, Tanisha, real quick, Tanisha. Hey, I want to show you somebody, Miss Tanisha, the elder. Elder, this is Tanisha. She has the next show that we're about to do at 8:00. She's one of the hosts of the T, which is the show that we're producing here called the T. And she's one of the hosts. A phenomenal show. It's her and 3 other melanated, gorgeous women. And so she's one of them. And so I just wanted the world to know this is my buddy, so she here.
Right. So maybe I need to interview you next time, and then you could tell us all about your show. How about that?
Oh, absolutely. I love it.
Okay. All right.
Thank
So
you.
we
I'll
put
get
it
out. That's your 15 minutes. That's take my 15 minutes. She's sweet. She's sweet, but she's here. So I was like, well, might as well say something. But no,
Absolutely.
I would tell them to work their jokes, work it out. Like even in conversation, see something's funny. Like see your subject. See, like me, I do subjects. So like we might be talking about church. And so that day, everybody getting churchy jokes. So it just depends. Wednesday, we might get relationship jokes. It just depends on the day.
That's what I was about to ask you. Do you have like certain, like, like a certain theme of the day? So is it of the day? That
Yeah,
day you're just gonna do
it
like
just depends. It depends. It depends. Every day is different. Every day is different. And it's not that I say, hey, I'm gonna do this. It's I noticed that I'm doing this. Oh, okay, so we're gonna stay here. And everybody we talk to, we're gonna bring it up somehow, some way. So that's how I work it.
so have you
I
ever
love the
had,
red hair, by the way.
thank you
I'm
so
loving this
much.
red hair.
Thank you
Come
so
on.
much.
You
That
better
is
be different.
that's my trademark. I'm your favorite redhead.
That part. Come on, favorite redhead.
I went to the Fred Hammond concert last night, Fred
Mm-hmm.
Hammond, the Festival of Praise. And there was a young lady singing with the choir, and she had red hair. We had the same color hair, and I kept looking at her thinking, she kind of reminds she kind of reminds me of me with that red hair. So I was walking up the corridor, and this lady was like, "Hey," she came and gave me a big old hug, and she
Uh-huh.
was like, "Oh, I love hearing you sing." I'm like, "Sing?" I said, "I
I'm
don't
telling
sing."
you,
She said, "Weren't you one of the people on the stage?" I'm like,
you
"No."
was. You was singing. You was up
I
there
said, "Well,
singing.
thank you anyway.
You didn't even know you were singing.
I must look like a celebrity. Thank you
Come
so much."
on. That's a good thing.
So tell me
I didn't go because I didn't want people to, I didn't want to take the shine from Fred. So
about,
that's
okay,
why I didn't go. I didn't want to take the shine from Fred,
you didn't want to
because
take the
it was
shine.
Fred's night. Yeah, it was Fred and them, Fred Marvin and them's night. So I didn't want to be there. And they'd be like, hey, you Fred now. He's up on stage. I didn't want to take Fred Hammond shine,
He sure
if I was
did. But if you were to think about it, sir, how am I going to be walking up and down the aisle if I'm up on the stage
if I'm
singing
supposed to
with
be on
the
stage.
choir?
Yeah. But I've
Okay,
done that though. I've been at concerts and people thought I was. I was like, wait a minute. He's 6'3". First
I
of all, he's
guess
6'3".
I can see the
Then he's
resemblance.
bigger than me. So yeah, I'm like, so you couldn't, like, when you got closer, you couldn't tell. So yeah, it just depends on the day.
So tell me some of the celebrity comedians that you work with.
I've worked with Bernie Mac. Oh, been a few. Um,
What about
Shucky
local?
Shucky Ducky, Quack
Mhm.
Quack. I've worked with him. Hamburger. Remember the guy Hamburger? I've been on stage with him. It's been a few. It's been a few. It's been
Just a few.
just a
Well, that's good. So you've been doing this for
Broderick Rice.
okay.
Broderick Rice was one of my favorite working being on stage with Broderick Rice. That was fun. That was definitely fun.
So who is your favorite comedian? Who is your
Who is
favorite?
my favorite comedian? Like right now,
Mhm.
the Rat Packs of comedy. Shed G, Quentin Coleman, Damian Ellis, not Carlton Banks. He's funny. And then the three boys from Wild and Out, 85 South.
Okay.
I love them, man. They're hilarious. They're funny. Tony Baker, um, Alberta the Exception, um, Fred Thomas, rest in peace. He was one of my favorites before he died. D. Pastor Fred Thomas.
Mhm.
You got so many. Lasagna Witt, Sister.
I said,
Uh,
who is your favorite? You name it, everybody you know. All these
it,
people are
because
your favorite.
to be honest, it's hard to say just one when the ones that I have said, they just have had such an impact depending upon the set, depending upon when you see them. But yeah, those are all my favorites if you ask me. Just
So what about back in the day favorites?
back in the day favorites, Richard Pryor, Um, uh, of course, Eddie Murphy and them. The young fella, the guy that died, he was like 35, but he was really funny and he was on his way. Robin Harris. Robin
Robin
Harris.
Harris. I was
Yeah,
about
Robin
to
Harris
ask, were
was
there
funny.
any Caucasian?
Early Caucasian, Robin Williams. Robin Williams was one of my favorite. Like I loved Robin Williams. Because I understand some of the backstory of his life, but Robin Williams, we got a plethora of comedians that their names escape me. And I know this question always comes up, so I don't know why I wasn't ready for this one. But there's a plethora. If you ask me off the top right now, I can't remember, but I could write them
You
down.
like people like Steve Martin and
Yes,
Martin?
Steve Martin. The Jerk is actually one of my favorite movies. Remember when he was in The Jerk?
Mhm.
That was one of my favorite movies. What's the guy? No Respect. Rodney Dangerfield. Rodney
Okay.
Dangerfield. Carol Burnett.
Mhm.
We had some amazing comedians come through, and so it's a fun thing.
You forgot one, Lucille Ball.
She was not one of my. I didn't like her as a comedian.
I have been watching some of the reruns and realized how funny it really was. So yeah.
But I'm not taking anything now. Now watch this. I'm not taking anything away from her. She just wasn't funny to me.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like I'm not
Yeah.
taking away from her talent. I'm not saying she's not funny. She just wasn't funny. Like Seinfeld's not funny to me. So, but I'm not taking away from their talent. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? You know, some people they try to take away from people's talent because that's not me. They just weren't funny to me. Now I'm not saying she didn't have funny moments, but she just was not. That's not somebody I would say that I would put in the conversation as far as I'm concerned.
So what about Saturday Night Live? You like Saturday Night Live?
I did to an extent. I did. It's a great place for comedians to go and work their work and actually work sketches of the stuff that's in their head. So Saturday Night Live is always going to be a iconic, but also a staple for people to do what they do best and give you the best out of even some bad situations.
Mhm. Okay, so a minute ago you talked about background and you knew the
Mhm.
background with Robin Williams. So let's talk about
Mhm.
your background.
Okay.
There have been some posts that you have made regarding you have been seeing a therapist and
Uh-huh.
you talked about some of the things that you have learned about yourself. So let's talk about some of those things because a lot of times, first of all, we as African Americans never wanted to go and see a therapist or
Okay.
yeah, I mean, so this show is just made a commitment to break the stigma. I've had several therapists on before,
Mhm.
interviewing them, letting people see that they're normal people. It doesn't mean that you're crazy and out of your mind, and it's okay to just talk to somebody. So why don't you
Mhm.
tell me what made you decide to see a therapist?
Well, when my marriages well, the first marriage, I didn't feel like I was wrong at first. Like I felt it was all her fault and I had a little bit of part of it. Until I grew up and said, well, you did have a part in it. The second marriage when it failed and ultimately we got divorced and after, knowing that I needed therapy, because I was doing the anger management stuff and just, you know what I'm saying? Um it made it made me go and say, check yourself. I didn't want to check myself because when you check yourself, you have to check yourself about everything. So when I did a self check, you need help. You need to deal with your issues because your issues, they're not just killing you, but they're hurting everyone around you. People don't want to do business with you when you're toxic. People don't want to be your friend when you're toxic. They get tired of being toxic husky. They get tired of that. They want people that literally want to do better. And it's okay to say this is just me, but sometimes the just you part is the worst part in the world that we get to see. And we don't always want to see that. Like you should be working on being a better you. And so once I realized doing a self check that I needed it, I don't miss it. Like I make sure my payment, if ain't nobody else paid up, if FICA's not paid up, If you know what I'm saying, if Sally Mae is not paid up, my therapist is always paid up so that
Now
I can get that.
there was a post that really blessed me, and I want you to tell me what motivated you to post it. You
Uh-huh.
said, "Please forgive me for hurting you while I was hurting."
Okay.
You said, "Please forgive me." I think you said, "Please forgive me if I
Mhm.
hurt you while I was hurting."
Yes.
What made you post that? I thought that, I mean, that just blessed me. I'm like, what made him post that?
I I I think in becoming a better Darnell, becoming a better Husky, you have to get to a point where you say, I messed up. I made mistakes. And then there are some people that are going to never forgive you. There are some people that are going to never let you come back and apologize. But I'm connected to almost 5,000 people on Facebook, Instagram, and my other pages. And I realized that while I was hurting people. Some of them, I'll never see them in person, but I hurt them by maybe something I said. Maybe they said something nice to me. Maybe maybe I was, in my feelings. Maybe I took something wrong. Maybe I got offended. But while I was hurting, my hurt prevailed to other people because when you're hurting, you tend to hurt people without knowing you're hurting people. But coming out of the hurt, you should realize you're hurting more than just the people in your household. You hurt coworkers that was just being nice. You hurt people who felt like they knew you and now you acting a fool. Or people like you hurt people without even knowing that you're hurting them. Because people will laugh off that you hurt them. And you'll never know that you hurt them, but you all of a sudden realize they not fooling with you no more. And so because of that, I just posted, hey, forgive me if I hurt you while I was hurting. Because while you're hurting, you're so caught up in you hurting that you don't realize you're hurting other people. So I got caught up. And so there are a lot of people that I'll never get to speak to again. There are a lot of people that like and laugh at my posts, comment on my posts, and have never told me, you hurt me. But I hurt them and I still wanted them to know I apologize. I repent for hurting you for whatever it is or however it is I hurt you. Because sometimes you don't know how you hurt people. But I know me and I know my mouth and I know how I act. So it's just taking accountability, really.
So the one thing I love about seeing a therapist, because I actually see a therapist myself,
Mm-hmm.
is that the therapist help pull those things out of you that you may not the things about you that
Mm-hmm.
you may not see or you may not realize are in you.
Right.
So how there was one post where you apologized to your ex-wives and you just talked about, you went down the list apologizing for things, and basically there were things about you that you apologized about. So
Uh-huh.
let's talk about how the therapist kind of goes on the inside and helps you to see the things that are on the inside of you.
Um, if you take therapy the right way, because some people go to therapy just so they can say with therapy. Some people not going to therapy to get help. They go into therapy because it's cute. It's the end thing to do. When you go to therapy to really deal with you have to be vulnerable. You have to literally be vulnerable. Being vulnerable is something we don't teach in the church way. You know what I'm saying? But I was reading a scripture. It's a scripture in the Bible that says, in your weakness, I'm made strong.
Right.
A lot of us aren't afforded the opportunity to be weak because we're so busy being strong. So God has no room to show out. I wanted God to show out. So I had to be vulnerable. I had to open up the door and say, Lord, do what you do. I did not necessarily want to apologize. But God said, why not? Why not? Why, even if they never talk to you again, why not? And I'm not saying they won't. I'm just saying, even if they never talk to you again, how about you tell some other brothers that's watching you? They pay attention to your page more than you think. How about you tell them, deal with their feelings before they lose their woman? So, we're not just, we're not just here to tell jokes. We're here to save lives. And how do you save lives? You don't necessarily save lives, but if God is going to work through you to save a life, you have to be vulnerable enough for him to allow you to be open to help save a life. So we have to be the nurse, but you can't be the nurse if you don't clean up. See what I'm saying? And a lot of us are trying to be God. We trying to be the doctor, and I need you to be the nurse, and I'll be the doctor. I'll fix him. You just prep him for surgery. So apologizing to the two women who I vowed before God and man that I would take forever, and of course it failed because evidently we're divorced. And apologizing to them and putting it out there and letting people know, no, I'm not always right. I screwed up. This is one I can't tell you what their reasoning is for it screwing up for them, but I can tell you what it was for me. And a lot of times men aren't afforded the opportunity to really be vulnerable, because when we show us being vulnerable, not everybody, now I want you to be clear, not everybody, but a lot of women don't allow that to really happen. We don't really have that safe space. There's a lot of men that text me afterwards and say, I can't say what you said. I can't do what you did online. But thank you, because now I'm gonna go open up to my wife. I'm gonna go open up to my fiance, somebody I'm dating. So it's imperative that we, and especially for those of us who call ourselves leaders. If you're gonna be a leader, you cannot lead from the back. You have to lead from the front. And so that's how you lead from the front. And it's not easy to lead from the front. So that's why.
Well, I'm going to tell you, it's been a blessing for me to watch you be transparent. I mean, that's another thing that men refuse to do, especially publicly,
Mhm.
is to be transparent like that. So, what do you say to that person that's struggling with being transparent with their spouse or being transparent with their family?
I had a moment, and I people really don't know. Like, we literally, the word says, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. An ex of mine, we were going through it, and I was in my feelings. And me being in my feelings, she says, "Shut up, you whining like a little," you
Mm-hmm.
know.
I know.
When she said that, when I say I totally shut up, I totally shut down. She never got vulnerable me ever again. She never got the vulnerability that she had in her hands because of the words of her mouth. Sometimes the reason people won't open up to you is because you're going to use it as a weapon later, or you're going to use it as a weapon now. Why would I open up to someone that is weaponizing the very vulnerability you're crying for me to give you? You see what I'm saying? So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, they don't realize that they're killing people with their words. That's why they don't want to talk to you. Every time I talk to you, you're not a safe place. If every time I talk to you, it goes to your family. If every time I talk to you, it goes to your best friend. If every time I talk to you, it goes to your pastor, then why would I open up to you if everybody else is going to know? Because if you're supposed to be my place of peace and safeness, then you need to be the security and shut up sometimes. Sometimes we talk our way out of love. We talk our way out of the love that we're supposed to have because you said too much. Sometimes it's just be quiet. Well, I want to say what I got to say. I got to get the last word. Say less said. See what I'm saying? And you
Mm-hmm.
don't realize you're killing your whole relationship with your man, because men don't really have, like, women literally, y'all do stuff that we're not allowed to do. Y'all, if you're breaking up with your man, your girls will call you, girl, come on over here. Bring that one dress in your closet. Don't do that. We don't even know how to react to our boy going through. We pat him on the head, but like, are you good? We don't know how, because we're not, y'all got whole groups for this. They are
Right.
empowering y'all at every station. They're empowering y'all. Men
Mm-hmm.
don't have that. We don't have groups that it's safe for us to be us. And so I'm not saying we don't. It's not a lot like it is for you all. So if
Right.
we don't have a safe place, and my woman's not my safe place, then where am I going to go? A lot of us are drinking our lives away, smoking our lives away, screwing our lives away, working our lives away, because we just don't want to come home to the woman we actually love, because she don't know how to shut up. She don't know how to be quiet. She don't know how to, and I'm not saying shut up in a mean way, but you don't know how to be quiet. You don't know how to, every time you talk to your man shouldn't be an argument.
Right.
Don't make them out of a molehill. I never understood that saying until I got grown. Never. Now I'm grown. I understand some arguments aren't worth it. Sometimes And especially when you want a different reply from your man, your husband, your man, your fiance. If you want a different reply from your husband, then give him a different response. If I know that you're gonna cuss me out every time you talk to me, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna eventually just shut up. You want me to respond? Then give me a different response. And that's why the devil wins against us, because he know what we're gonna do. He know how we're gonna respond. So if
Right.
I know how you're gonna respond, I'm already prepared for your response.
Yeah.
You picked all, like, even being petty, like every woman I've ever dated has said, like, they would send me the long paragraph to say how they feel. And because I'm petty,
Mm-hmm.
I would pick the most pettiest thing she say and say, so you gonna say I didn't go and get you nothing to eat today? She done said a whole word, and I would pick the petty, but it was a defense mechanism because I didn't know how to respond to that. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know how to respond to what she was saying, because and another thing that a lot of women that I dated, because I can't say about every woman because I don't know, but the women that I've dated, they have a mad habit of telling me everything I do wrong and can never tell me nothing I do right. So why would I want to be safe with you? Why would I want to be in a relationship and be open and let's share our feelings if I know I can't be me?
That's huge. That's huge. So, what do you say to the person that refused to talk? That maybe, he or she is reaching out, wanting to have a conversation, but that person is refusing to talk.
Um, Not communicating how you feel will make you sick. It's a proven fact. It'll make you sick. It'll make you sick if you don't have an outlet. Not talking will make you sick. It'll make you'll lose so much not talking. Sometimes you got to embrace. I learned in anger management and in counseling to embrace the feeling. If I'm mad, just go ahead and be mad and get it over with. Leave me alone. I'm mad. Just leave me alone. Just let me feel this. Embrace that feeling, but tell somebody how you feel. Hey, you hurt my feelings when you said that. Oh man, you 6'3", 250 pounds. What does that have to do with how you? Most people can cut you down with words more than they can with their fists, and have
Absolutely.
no idea. So it's a thing of embracing how you feel and telling people, hey, look. And my best friend, this how we actually, one of the ways we became close. I used to coach her in basketball. We were at the gym. I was doing a play. Hey, she was at the top of the key, and I walked past her, and she was in my way. And I didn't say, excuse me. I said, move. She moved. She got out the way. As she's getting out the way, she goes through practice. I never knew anything was wrong. Bam, I'm running practice like I normally run practice. After practice, she said, hey, can I talk to you when you're done? Yeah. We sit down, and she says to me, you hurt my feelings with what you said. I'm a woman. Don't ever tell me to move. Excuse me, please. Something along those lines, and put a please on. I'm a woman. Don't talk to
Put
me
a
like that.
please on it.
Please. She could have acted a fool while we were doing practice, but she held it. She waited. That showed me that she not only respected me as the coach, she respected me as the man enough to say, I'm not going to embarrass you when I could. When I have watch this, when I have every right to. I'm gonna handle it a different way because I want a different result. Ever since then, my best friend has never had to hear me say move. I'd be like, excuse me, please. She put the boundary and she set the standard all at the same time. So sometimes we don't put the boundaries and set the standards, and then we get mad at people, and then we want to act a fool when you have the right to act a fool, but we choose the response that we choose, and then we be like, well, I don't know why this didn't work. Well, I mean, look at your response. Look at where you responded at. Look at how you respond.
Yeah.
So my best friend was the best example. Her name is Sheena Walter. She was the best example of showing me how to respond in a situation where you're offended. And right then that's when I learned sometimes shut up was from her. Sometimes be quiet. This ain't the place to do it. Because you have to know your controls. And sometimes people shutting down and not saying nothing is the best control they have. I'm not scared of you and I want to say something to you, but I can go from 0 to life in prison in 10 seconds. So I'm gonna shut up because
Yeah.
this can go there. So sometimes shutting down is best for you because you know what you're capable of. And
Mm-hmm.
so sometimes you have to shut down because if I say it now in the presence of mind that I'm in, like when you're in a rage, you're not thinking rational. So I'm not thinking she's a woman. I'm thinking I'm getting ready to tell her how I feel with this rage. So
Mhm.
sometimes being quiet is good, but sometimes being quiet is too much and you're killing yourself because no doubt you're thinking about that thing and you're internalizing and overthinking it, and now it's killing you. Now you wonder why you got headaches from nowhere. Now you wonder why you just sick all the time. And so we have to be real careful with kind of shutting down all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's good to say, no, I'm not accepting that. I'm not going for that. I got things to do, but I'm not doing this with you. So that's what it is.
Well, I love how transparent you have been. It's definitely been a blessing to me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's been a blessing. If it's a blessing to me, I know there are many, many others that it is a blessing to. So let's talk about what you have going on right now. What are you doing? Tell me about what I'm looking at in the background
In
live.
the background behind me is Live Wicks, 2405 South Collins Street. It's a nice lounge. It's a place that you can have your wedding, your bar mitzvah, your divorce, the repass of the relationship. Whatever you want, you can have it right here, and they're gonna take care of you. 2405 South Collins Street. You can call 682-552-9100 and talk to those that are over it, and they'll take care of you. It's a great venue. It's so beautiful in here. You can do a number of things. Now, look, Thursday nights, we be here. We do karaoke, open mic night, and showcases. So you'll get some artists, you'll get some singing, you get a little fun, and I'm hosting it all. So I love it. But next up, what I'm doing next is I'm producing the Tea, which is right here on Facebook. Well, it's on Facebook Live, the Tea Podcast DFW. If you want to look at it next, it's at 8 o'clock. So that's what I'm doing next. And I got a few surprises coming up that are down the road. And I just signed up for film school. Just
No.
signed up for film school. So we're doing that.
So I guess we'll see you in a movie pretty soon, huh?
I
After
just
you get
filmed a
done.
movie in March. I filmed a movie in March called Forbidden Daughter.
Uh-huh.
Demarcus Bailey and them, Snoop Robertson, they did an amazing job, and so I'm excited to see what it looks like when it's all said and done.
Oh, that's so exciting. So,
Thank
what
you.
other advice you can give people that are just listening? Just whatever's on your heart to say.
Be authentic you. Um, I'm great at being me. I am the greatest at being me. I am the greatest of all time at being Husky. Like I literally am not arguing with nobody about the greatest of all time when it comes to being Husky. I am the greatest. Like there is no two, three, four, five. I am all of the numbers that lead up to being number one. Be you. Be the best you, and live. We spend so much time just being here, just existing. Live. Do stuff that's different. Do challenge yourself. Nothing is better than seeing somebody challenge themselves and they think they can't do it and then they reach the goal. Live. Live. Live.
Yeah.
I
So,
would tell people to live.
so you were a part of a comedy show. Was it a couple of weeks ago at Antioch?
Mhm.
So, are you
Yes,
available for people to book you for stand-up comedy?
absolutely.
How do they
Hmm.
reach you?
You can call me at 682-283-5904 and we'll set it up and we'll talk. But I need to let the Saints know. Please have your event ready. The Saints don't be having their event ready. They be, hey, can we do this? They ain't asked permission from the church or nothing. They have nothing set up. Then I got to set it up. Let me tell you something. Come to me when you know what you're going to do. Unless we're collaborating, like Antioch, we were collaborating, so it was different. But
Mhm.
other people, they not ready, and then they want you to hold a date that they ain't paying no deposit on. They got they got 72 hours to put the deposit in before I accept the next gig. Because it's just we lose money because we waiting on you and you wasn't ready. Your church said no. Now you got to go find somewhere else to put it at. When you
Mm,
should have did that before you called me. So
right.
make sure you have your dates and stuff together when you call people. People want to do stuff and then they want you to do more work than they gonna do on they vision. I was like, I can't do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not. I'm not.
Okay, someone is asking, they want to get more information on the venue. So what I'll do is at the end, I'll go ahead and post that address of the
They
venue.
can actually inbox me, and I have information about it if they need it, or they can call my number. Tell them to text me because I'm doing these podcasts tonight. But they can text me, and I can give them any information they need for the venue as well.
Okay, give me the number again, and I'll put it in the chat.
682
Mm-hmm.
283 5904. Tell them to text me. I can't talk because we're doing these shows. Yeah, don't call, text me, and I'll give all the information that they need for Live Wicks right here at 2405 South College.
All right. Well, I certainly do appreciate you and thank you for being my guest. And just hold on tight. I'm going to get my approvals. I'm going to get all of that. But definitely, I'm going to get all the approvals and I'm going to make sure I have my venue and everything set. And I'm going to make sure I have my deposit.
Here's the thing between you and me, Elder. I tell you what, you hit me up and I'm gonna give you my number and we can talk about it because you different. It's different. Some people have a different type of pool with me than others. You know, I don't know you and you coming to me and trying to get me to do all the work. Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm not doing your event. That's the devil. I'm not doing it. But and the only reason I say that is it's not that you're gonna always have the deposit ready because you don't always have the deposit ready. But I'm not waiting 2, 3, 7 weeks for you to get a deposit ready. Like people want you to hold dates, but that money that you pay holds the date. I had a guy who literally before the pandemic, right before the pandemic, in the summer before the pandemic, put down a deposit for me to do his family reunion. Do you realize we're not doing that family reunion till this July? But his deposit, I held his deposit because you got to be an honorable man. So I'm gonna be at his family reunion in July. So
okay, so you do personal family reunions, not just
church.
Not
I do all that.
Okay.
I do all that. Yeah, like I do all that. I'm ready for everything. I come and if they need me to make you laugh at your surgery, I'll be at your surgery. Girl, don't cut it too much. Don't cut it too much. He's not ready. So yeah, whatever you need, I got it.
Okay. All right. Well, I will definitely be reaching out because we definitely want to have you at our church. We'll work together and get that date. Everybody, I thank you all for joining us tonight. I will post that number in the chat so that you can reach Big Husky. And again, thank you so much. And then the next show is called
The T. It's the T Podcast on Facebook Live. It's the T Podcast DFW. But check it out, man. It's one of the greatest shows that we've just started. Crystal, Kim, Jay, and Tanisha are phenomenal women. They're real women. Like they do this thing. They do this thing called life in real time. And so up next at 8:00 p.m., you can see the T. And I promise it's going to bless your whole life situation. Because they're going to talk the talk and walk the walk at the same time.
Okay. Well, all right, sir. Well, you have a great night. I thank you so much for being my guest. And I want to thank everyone for coming out and just listening. And for those of you who are listening on demand, let us know that you enjoyed the show. And it's just my desire that everyone will have a great evening. And don't forget to watch the next show, the T Show. And all right, everybody's like, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right.
Baby, all we got. See you later, Elder.
All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye, everyone.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.